So I played every single Uncharted game apart from the PSP game because I don't have the PSP game, I can't lie. But I played every single one of them and we're going to rank them today. We're going to do the tier list again, so the S to D or whatever. E, F and all that, I don't think I'm really going to use them because this is Uncharted. They are usually really good games, apart from the original, weirdly enough. I mean, it's not a bad game, but we'll get into it in literally just 30 seconds. But yeah, after the success of the Assassin's Creed ranking and the Batman ranking, the first ever video on this channel, I thought, why not make this a consistent series? So I'm going to be doing this for a couple different franchises, maybe even movies at some point, but I'll have another video out probably tonight or tomorrow explaining where this channel was going to go because I've had a lot of people question it. We're going to rank every single Uncharted game. And trust me, you want to stay for Lost Legacy. It'll be the last game I review and rank. I've got a hot take about that game. Uncharted 1. Ooh. I can't lie, boys. Uncharted 1 is okay at best. Uncharted 1 is kind of the game I just don't really want to talk about because I mainly walked away with a negative opinion. I like Uncharted games, but Uncharted 1 is the original, it's the one that started it, it's the foundation for Uncharted 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy. But as I said with Assassin's Creed 1, you kind of got to respect the original because it's the original. But even though I respect the original here, the original Uncharted, I cannot lie, I just didn't enjoy my time with this game at all. Right, it's not bad, you know what I mean? But it's definitely the worst out of every Uncharted game I've ever played. The story is fine. Obviously, it introduces us to Elena and Sully, which is great, but the villain is not really memorable at all. I don't even remember his name, okay? To be fair, I played Uncharted 2, 3, and 4, so it's kind of in the back of my head now, but the villain wasn't really memorable. The story itself, compared to the other games, is nowhere near as good. The acting is fine. It's fine, but Uncharted 2 stepped it up to such a level where you go back to Uncharted 1 and you're just like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Now, I played the remastered version, so I imagine the gameplay was even worse back in 2007 when this originally released, but the remasters, gameplay-wise, isn't terrible. Obviously, it's a remaster, they can't remake it, they can't change levels or anything, so that's where most of my criticisms are going to be focused on, because that's fair, it's because of how it was in 2007, but the remasters do a good job with the gameplay, because I remember even back in 2011 or whatever, when I first got a PS3 and I started playing these Uncharted games, I remember the gunplay was okay at best, but the remasters, I don't know exactly what they did, but it's much smoother, it's much easier to aim in all of these games now, and Uncharted 1 does benefit from it, I think. It doesn't feel as significant as Uncharted 2 and 3, so it's making me question whether Uncharted 1 even got remastered. You know, it feels fine. It doesn't feel modern, but it doesn't feel old, you know what I mean? It feels like a generic shooter, I guess, in today's modern gaming landscape, you know what I'm saying? So it's not bad. Level design is really rough for me though. I don't know what it is, because it does play very similarly to Uncharted 2 and 3, because obviously these are linear games. You get put into a level, you explore the level, you shoot guys, you beat guys up, and you find treasure. Bang, simple, easy, very nice, very good, very good. Woo. What am I doing? But I don't know, Uncharted 1, I don't know if it's just like some sort of effect on my brain knowing that it's the original, knowing it's not going to have the improvements the sequels do have, that affects my opinion on it. But I don't know, it just didn't flow quite right for me. Like, even from a gameplay standpoint, like I said, the gameplay, the foundation is fine, but the level design doesn't really let you experiment with the gameplay at all. Like, a lot of it is just taking cover and shooting, and it's weirdly difficult, actually. It is weirdly difficult. I was surprised by how difficult this game was. But when you compare it to the other Uncharted games, it's just not quite there, you know what I mean? It's just not it, which is unfortunate. Music and everything's pretty good though. Music's pretty good. All of these games have good music, but Uncharted 4, I think, kind of takes the cake for music. I know that's a bit of a controversial take, but we'll get to Uncharted 4 in a bit. But yeah, Uncharted 1, where am I going to put it? Like I said, this is not a bad game, so I'll tell you what, it's going to get a C, okay? C for see you later, probably never going to play you again, but you were pretty good. Bang, simple, easy. Uncharted 1, game I at least want to talk about. Bang, let's go. Do 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 do. That's not it. Uncharted 2, fuck it, let's go. Okay, Uncharted 2, yes. Obviously, it's good. It's good. Everyone knows it's a good game, okay? Does it live up to today's standards? Obviously not. It hasn't aged as well as you might think, okay? Now, of course, people are going to go back to this game and they're always going to love it because it flows really well. The story is really good. The writing is really good. The acting is really good. The gameplay is really good. The level design is really good. The set pieces are really good. It's all really fucking good, okay? It's undeniable, okay? Just from an objective standpoint, it's a really good game. AI could use a bit of work, but you know, we'll get to that. But after I completed Uncharted 2 and I moved on to Uncharted 3 and 4, did kind of lose that magic for me, okay? I understand these are different games, but Uncharted 2 is praised the absolute most, okay? It's usually the top tier Uncharted game for everyone, and that's fine. I get it. It's a good game, but for me, it just hasn't aged that well. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the train sequence. I love the opening. I love the set pieces. I love the action. I love the shooting. I love the soundtrack. I love the actors, man. I love everything about it. But as a game, for me, it kind of just lost any oomph to it. I can't even lie. Like the villain, Zolkovich, I think the villain's name was Zolkovich. This is a common issue of Uncharted games, actually. I don't like the villains really at all, apart from one villain. But yeah, the main villain, it's kind of... What was I talking about? Let's start with the story, okay? Because now that I've passed Uncharted 1, I can actually remember the story. Right, so you follow Nathan Drake. You know who Nathan Drake is. He's a treasure hunter and a criminal and a killer, even though they don't like to talk about the killing part. They even give you an achievement in Uncharted 4 for ludonarrative dissonance. If you don't know what ludonarrative dissonance is, it's basically a time to... What the fuck does it mean? There's a disconnect between the story and the gameplay. You know what I mean? So you play as like a really heroic person, but you're killing everyone. That's the disconnect. That's ludonarrative dissonance, I think, anyway. I'm not a fucking writer. Go Google it, mate. What are you doing? But yeah, you follow Nathan Drake, played by Nolan North, of course, like one of the best voice actors in the industry at the minute. And Nathan gets lured into this museum, and he's basically took a job, and he hasn't actually listened to the details. He hasn't actually done his due diligence, his research, checking his partners, are they going to betray him or not? And he gets done over, and that leads him on to some sort of wild goose chase to stop this criminal, crazy terrorist army dude from going to Shambhala. Throughout that story, you're going to meet characters like Chloe. Chloe is... Well, we all know Chloe. Oof. I do like me some Chloe, I can't lie. Of course, you get Elena again as well as Sully, you can't forget Sully. I think Sully is my favourite character in all of these games. I love Sully. He's just sound. He's just a likeable person, you know what I mean? But throughout the story, you're going to be travelling the globe, mate. But yeah, this is quite a globe-spanning adventure, I can't lie. You're going to be going to the mountains, you're going to be chilling in cities, you're going to be blowing up buildings and all sorts, just like you do in Uncharted games all the time. The story, I think, is actually pretty good. Is it as good as everyone says? No, okay? I'm going to be very blunt with you, okay? If you're one of those guys, or girls, that sits there and says Uncharted 2 has the best Uncharted story, politely, and I mean this politely, fuck off. You're lying. Stop it. Go play Uncharted 4 again. We'll get to Uncharted 4 in a bit. Stop it. It's not that good. Uncharted 2 is paced extremely well. I think that's what tricks people into thinking the story is super good. Like, it's amazing, 10 out of 10, thematic masterpiece. It's really not, okay? Replay it if you haven't played it in a while. Trust me, you're not going to enjoy it as much. But it is paced really well, and the themes they do explore, they are explored fairly decently, okay? There are quite a few things that I would personally change myself. Oh, green screen, please work. Oh god, 30 FPS, I'm so sorry. What is going on with my camera today? But yeah, like I was saying, there's a few things that I would change, mainly with the villains. The villains just aren't that interesting in any of these games, really, which is unfortunate. But like I said, overall, I still think it's a pretty good story, so... Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Outside of that, though, the gameplay. Oh my god, okay. Uncharted 3 didn't really improve on Uncharted 2's gameplay too much, so let's dig deep. Uncharted 2's gameplay is fucking amazing, okay? It flows extremely well. It inspired the new Tomb Raider games, the Tomb Raider reboot from 2013, the sequel 2015, Rise of the Tomb Raider, etc, etc, etc. Uncharted was a massive inspiration for a lot of games. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Uncharted. As I said, the Tomb Raider reboots, Uncharted. There is a lot of Uncharted rip-offs these days because the gameplay loop is just almost flawless. I mean, you're going to be jumping in, you're going to be shooting, you're going to be punching, you're going to be parkouring, you're going to be jumping down on people, you're going to fucking kick them in the face, you know what I'm saying? You're just doing a lot, and it's a lot of fun, and it feels like an action-adventure game. It's like the perfect Indiana Jones game. Oh, by the way, what happened to the Indiana Jones game that Xbox is supposed to have? Where is it? Give me the Indiana Jones game, man. Give it. But yeah, just the overall, for a console third-person shooter as well, it's all just really solid. It feels good to shoot most of the time. There are a few guns that don't feel as good, especially in Uncharted 2. But you also have a ton of weapon variety, like snipers, shotguns, SMGs, etc, etc. You know, the usual lot. Except Uncharted always requires you to move around. You're going to be jumping from cover. You're going to be dodging helicopters. You're going to be blowing RPG. You know, it's fucking mad. It's an action-adventure game. It's fucking amazing. It's really good. But it has its flaws. Each of these games, apart from Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, have a major problem. okay? And it's a big one for me. Towards the end of the game, let's say the third act, I'm being generous, but let's say the third act. For whatever reason, Naughty Dog's idea of difficulty is to send in waves and waves and waves of enemies at you that are all bullet sponges. You had one job, Naughty Dog, and you fucked it up. Bullet sponges are like the worst thing on planet Earth, mate. Forget it. Get rid of bullet sponges unless it's like a Destiny game, like an RPG, MMO fucking thing. Okay, that's where it's acceptable. But not in my story-driven, level-based, linear shooter, okay? Fuck off. Get it out. I don't want bullet sponges. I don't want guys with fucking tons of armor that need like 6 RPG shots to kill them. Stop it. Cut it out. Stop. That is probably the biggest flaw with Uncharted 2, 3, and 1. It's just incredibly annoying. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but the difficulty spike is kind of ridiculous, especially in Uncharted 2 when you get to Shambhala, or Shambahala, or Shambhala, Shambulu. I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's been a couple days since I played it, I can't lie, sorry. But yeah, the difficulty spike is kind of ridiculous. But as an overall package, yeah, Uncharted 2 is one of the better Uncharted games you can play today. So I'm going to put it in... Oh, I didn't do this for Uncharted 1, my bad. I'm going to put it in... Oh, fuck off, green screen. Fuck off. I need a proper green screen, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm giving it a fucking A. There we go. Fucking A, way. It gets an A. Uncharted 2 gets an A. That's a good spot. I'm not saying it's bad. Anyway, Uncharted 3 time. Right, off the bat, I'm going to say this. Uncharted 3 improved on one critical aspect of gameplay from Uncharted 2, and that is melee combat. Didn't mention it in the Uncharted 2 review because, well, I want to save it for Uncharted 3, and here we are. Bang, let's go. Uncharted 3 really didn't improve a ton, okay? It plays very similarly to Uncharted 2, almost too similarly, while making small improvements. So, for example, gunplay feels slightly better. When you get a headshot, it feels a bit more impactful when compared to Uncharted 2. Melee combat was a bigger focus, a much bigger focus in Uncharted 3. Like, you've got actual combos, you've got dodges, and, you know, there's a big focus on hand-to-hand combat, which at first sight is pretty good, okay? It's quite like, oh yes, this is kind of what Uncharted 2 was missing. I'm quite enjoying this. Bang, 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 bang. Until you're forced to use it in actual combat when it isn't just a face-to-face fight. The problem is, you can't dodge when you're in that combat system, okay? When you're in that melee combat system that looks really cool, you can't dodge. So you're going to constantly die because the dodge button is now the grab button. So when you want to dodge, you're grabbing instead of dodging. You know what I mean? So like this. So usually you do this. Whoa. But now you're going to do this. And now you just stood still like a fucking moron getting shot in the head. It's just not... It's a big flaw that playtesters really should have picked up on. But they didn't. So, fuck it. Here we are. But outside of that, the gameplay... There really isn't much to talk about when it comes to gameplay compared to Uncharted 2. I really can't lie. Like, there's different weapons. And there's less enemy variety, weirdly enough. That is something I could talk about. Uncharted 2 had pretty decent enemy variety, mainly because towards the end of the game they start throwing different characters at you. I won't spoil it all, but you do get to see Shambhala, and there's some secret society type thing going on in Uncharted 2, so you get new enemies, which spices up the variety of gameplay. Uncharted 3 does not have that, really. Uncharted 3, you're going to be shooting at the same goons for like the entire game until like the last 30 minutes, where you get to a, you know, the special area like in every Uncharted game. So in a way, it's actually worse than Uncharted 2, unfortunately. I will say, I do actually kind of prefer the story of Uncharted 3 compared to 2, though. I know that's kind of ludicrous to some people, but just from an enjoyment factor, I found myself enjoying Uncharted 3 more than Uncharted 2 because I just found the story a bit more interesting. I don't know why, because I know Uncharted 2 objectively is the better story compared to 3, especially when it comes to, you know, pacing, themes, for, you know, thematic consistency, etc, tone, etc. You know what I'm talking about. But I just find it more entertaining. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine. It's like watching a Transformers film. Like the first Transformers from Michael Bay is actually really good. That's like a guilty pleasure. And Uncharted 3 is kind of the same thing for me because it focuses so much on action and, you know, just blowing you away from set pieces that it kind of forgets to slow down at times, and you kind of just lose the personal aspect from Uncharted 2. But I still prefer Uncharted 3 because it's more fun. You know what I mean? It's really weird, isn't it? I'm sorry. But yeah, there's not much to talk about with this one because it's just Uncharted 2, but with a different story and bigger set pieces, let's be honest. So I'm going to give it a B. It's better than Uncharted 1 because obviously the gameplay is basically Uncharted 2, but it definitely, despite me enjoying it more, from an objective point of view, Uncharted 2 is better, I think, anyway. I think from an objective point of view, maybe there are people that prefer 3 like me, but I still think 3 is more flawed than 2 because 2 focuses on what it wants to do and does it properly, whereas 3 focuses so much on set pieces where it becomes its only focus and it loses focus on everything else. If you get what I mean, it's kind of hard to articulate. Actually, it's a weird one because it's disguised as like 10 out of 10 stuff. Okay, it's disguised as that, but when you go a bit deeper, it's more like a 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna give it a B, and we're gonna move on to Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy because man, whew, these games, oh my god. Uncharted 4 was such a massive step up in terms of storytelling, in terms of gameplay, in terms of visual quality, in terms of voice acting, tone, soundtrack, set pieces. It's kind of insane how more mature it feels after The Last of Us. Like, I kind of get bored of talking about The Last of Us these days because it's become such a massive IP. It's bigger than Uncharted at this point. But The Last of Us is really what gave Naughty Dog the balls to really push what they can do when it comes to storytelling in games and how you're going to play them and how you're going to interact with them. Because Uncharted 4 just blows every single one of these Uncharted games out of the water. I don't care if you prefer Uncharted 2. I think it's objectively right to say that Uncharted 4 is a better game than Uncharted 2. Does it lack those epic set pieces, or at least a consistency of them? Yes, of course it does. It does lack that set piece epicness to it. But that's because it sacrifices those big ass set pieces, which everyone complained about in Uncharted 3, there being too many, and focuses more on intimate storytelling, focused on Sam. Sam is Nate's brother that is retconned basically into Uncharted 4, and he's kind of like the life of Uncharted 4. He's the reason the story moves forward. He's kind of the protagonist in a way. He's the reason the story goes forward. He's the reason Nate comes back into this and fucks everything up basically. The way they tell this story of brotherhood is just so good, and having Nate conflict with Elena and Sully, and just there's so many things going on that it's impossible to talk about in these short kind of reviews, but just take it with it. Just take it from what I'm saying. It's fucking good. It's a really good game. And to tell you the truth, I didn't realize how good it was until I decided to replay every single Uncharted game. Because I always thought Uncharted 4, yeah, it was alright. It's kind of on the same level as Uncharted 2. I was on crack. This game is so much better. So much better. Not just from a story standpoint. Well, hang on, wait, we're not moving on from the story just yet. I want to talk about this. I'm making the video, let's do it. Rafe is the best villain in all of Uncharted. I don't care what you say. Rafe is the best villain. He's the most sympathetic villain. He's the most realistic villain. He's a villain you can actually get behind and understand his motivations. He's a villain that is not so over the top, but kind of grounded in a way. Like, he's this rich kid, basically. Well, he's a rich kid. He was born into wealth, and he has everything handed to him on a silver platter. I mean, he literally says that in the game, right before his spoilers, right before his demise. Okay, he literally says that, and it becomes he's such an interesting character. Actually, I wish we got more time with him. I would actually take, I know this is gonna sound crazy, I would take a spin-off with Rafe. Okay, I really like Rafe. I think he was a great character. But outside of that, you got characters like Nadine, who we will talk about in the Lost Legacy DLC because I've got some hot takes. But Nadine is also actually great in this game. I actually really like her character. The character in 2016, I mean, this was when Naughty Dog started getting some actual weird criticism. The character got slated by everyone in 2016 because she was stronger than Nathan and Sam at the same time. She's like, shut up, guys. Nathan and Sam are just treasure hunters. This Nadine is a trained military, career-focused person, okay? She's going to fuck you up if she wants to, you dumb fucks, okay? But yeah, I really like Nadine. Basically, the villains are pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Are they're the best villains in the world? No. But for an Uncharted game, they are absolutely the best villains. I was very happy with them, especially on replay. And every character gets a thing to do here. Sully gets a good amount of screen time. Sam gets a lot of screen time, and thank God he does. Elena gets good screen time as well towards the end of the game. And it all just blends really well into this beautiful ending that is both satisfying while also still leaving the door slightly open for the future. That being said, I really don't think they should make another Uncharted game for a long time. I still think last game came out in 2016, we're in 2023 now. I'd wait till after 2026, give it 10 years before we see another Uncharted game, because the ending here I think is pretty great. Obviously we had Lost Legacy, but there's a reason I'm saying it's good here, because the way I'm going to put it is Uncharted 4 is the best story ending, and Lost Legacy has the best gameplay ending. I'll explain it in the Lost Legacy review. Anyway, let's move on to the gameplay for Uncharted 4. So yeah, Uncharted 4 improved on so much it flows way better, the gameplay, all of it, the parkour, the climbing, all of that feels way better. It feels more risky, more fluid. Animations are way better. It's much less clunky. Like the climbing in Uncharted 3, 2, and 1 is actually still really clunky, even in the remasters. But Uncharted 4, get that out of here. Climb. You're gonna climb till your heart can't climb anymore, man. It's really good. They also added the rope in, so well, they call it the rope. It's basically a grappling hook, okay? So you throw the grappling hook and you swing on it like you're Spider-Man and you jump off it, and that adds a lot of gameplay variety, weirdly enough. I know it's just a hook, I know you're just swinging, and it's more of a epic type thing rather than focused on variety, but the amount of things you can do with the hook, like jumping on the hook, jumping on a guy, jumping on the hook to escape, jumping, swinging, and shooting at the same time, it's so much fun. It's such a great mechanic, and I'm glad they added it. They also found a perfect balance for the melee combat. If you remember, it was about 10 minutes ago. In my Uncharted 3 review, just 10 minutes ago, yeah, the melee combat I said was a cool addition, but it wasn't quite right. Uncharted 4 nails it. It's the perfect blend of Uncharted 2's melee combat and Uncharted 3's melee combat. It loses a lot of its depth from Uncharted 3. Well, not a lot of it. You lose the counter attack, so you can't counter in this combat system anymore. But it's focused on fluidity. That is why. That you don't need a counter button when you can just press square and dodge and shoot. You know what I mean? It's all about combining your shooting, your punching, and your dodging, okay? And it's perfect. It is a perfect Uncharted combat system, okay? Perfect. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. They even had a bigger focus on stealth here. It's not like a massive focus. You don't really want to be playing stealthily in an Uncharted game. It's an action-adventure game, so of course you don't want to play in stealth, but it's there and it does flow really well. The AI can be pretty stupid, but it's not a stealth game, so I'm not going to go too in-depth on it. But yeah, it's really good. And the set pieces. Yes, there are less of them. Yes, they're not quite as epic as Uncharted 3, like falling out of a plane or whatever. But from a cinematic viewpoint, while blending it in with gameplay, it is fucking incredible what they managed to do here. Yes, okay, they revealed their biggest set piece at E3 in Madagascar. Okay, yeah, that was a pretty stupid move, I think. They should have shown a different set piece off. But either way, that is, you know, one of the best set pieces you can ever really play in a story-driven game, okay? Is it overshadowed by Uncharted Lost Legacy? Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm going to get into that in just a minute. But the set pieces in Uncharted 4 are cinematically fucking perfect, man. There isn't a ton of shaky cam. The camera stays on Nate. You feel like you're always in control, even though when you're really not. When you're driving a car and you're going through this linear section while you also feel like you're choosing your path, it is extremely fucking hard to do that, and most games cannot do it, okay? So Uncharted 4 gets a 10 out of 10 from that standpoint. Absolutely. Now, like I said, it's not perfect. None of these games are really perfect, but for me, Uncharted 4 is an absolute S tier, okay? Get up there. That is an S tier game, okay? Uncharted 4 it's pretty much the perfect ending for Uncharted, but it's also one of the best story-driven games you can ever play. It is polished to perfection. The visuals are 10 out of 10. The gameplay is 10 out of 10. The story is 9 out of 10, minus a few bits. Soundtrack is... the soundtrack. I used to hate the soundtrack, but replaying it, oh my god, this soundtrack is so much better than all the other Uncharted games. I'm just saying. Henry Jackman, I think his name is Henry Jackman. You did good, mate, if you're watching this for whatever reason. You did good. Congrats. But yeah, absolute S tier. Yeah, I'm gonna take a swig of my cup of tea because this long video. All my videos are long on here, actually, weirdly enough. Greasy hair, I'm sorry. Right, we're finally here. Lost Legacy. I wanted to talk about this game so badly because I completed it last night. I completed it back in 2020 as well, but I didn't remember much of it. But replaying it, man, if it was just a little bit longer, it will be the best Uncharted game you can ever play. I said it, okay? Suck my dick, okay? It is one of the best Uncharted games you can ever play. If it was slightly longer, it would have been the best, okay? And I'm being deadly serious. It takes everything that Uncharted 4 did, okay, gameplay-wise, and adds variety. You have these open areas you can explore in the first, 2 chapters. You got these epic linear set pieces almost every chapter that blows your bloody mind. They managed to make Chloe and Nadine some of the most likable characters in the entire series. In my opinion, I really like those two. Not because they're hot, but because they're good characters. I'm being serious about that. Don't laugh at me. They're actually really good characters. I really like what they did with Nadine here. You just got even more depth, and it improved Uncharted 4's story as well. So replaying Uncharted 4 after playing Lost Legacy it makes Uncharted 4 even better because you've got Nadine's backstory. It was also really nice to see Chloe again because obviously she just disappears after Uncharted 3. She just well, yep, bye-bye, Nathan, bye-bye. But here she is. She's just chilling. She's exploring. As well as the return of Sam, which was really nice. We got some nice closure between Nadine and Sam. But the reason I said earlier that Uncharted Lost Legacy overshadows Uncharted 4's set pieces, it's because of that final set piece. Guys, I am going to spoil it, okay? But if you have not played Uncharted Lost Legacy, and I beg you listen to me, the final set piece alone is about half an hour. That alone is worth every penny you'd spend on that game. It came out for like 20 quid or something. It is one of the best DLCs I've ever played, okay? It takes everything Uncharted 4 did and improves on it. Adds silenced pistols, adds enemy variety, adds different areas to explore, adds more story, adds better set pieces, adds better music. It's just better. It's kind of insane that it was only a DLC, to be perfectly honest with you. That final set piece, I cannot describe in words how it makes you feel, okay? You're doing everything you've ever done in Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and Uncharted 4, and they combine it. I'm talking driving cars, jumping from cars, shooting from cars, jumping on a train, hooking onto a helicopter, getting up onto the helicopter, crashing the helicopter, getting back on a fucking car, jumping off the train, back onto the ground, you're shooting at enemies, you get back in the car, you're back on the train. Oh, what's that? You got a road, you're gonna follow the road? Fuck that, you're gonna take the car off the fucking cliff into the fucking train. Now you're back on the train. So now you gotta climb back on the train, then you gotta beat up the bad guy, and you pow, 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 and there's a fucking nuke in the back of the fucking train. What the fuck is going on? It is fucking miraculously intense, and it's so fucking fun to play, and it's the best action-adventure set piece I've ever played. Bang, simple, easy. S tier, get the fuck out of here. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. Like the video if you did. Stick with the Sticky Man by subscribing, and I hope you enjoyed. Stick around. Whew, that was a long video.